Lu Jinian was wearing a suit, and with his eyes shut, he lay silently on the bed. From afar, he seemed to be sound asleep. Qiao Anhao lifted her hand, knocking on the door, but looking at the bed, she saw that Lu Jinian remained motionless, without any reaction. She furrowed her brows, taking large strides towards the bed. Once she was near the bed, she could clearly see Lu Jinian sprawled on the bed, his body trembling lightly. Subconsciously, Qiao Anhao reached out to touch his forehead. He was burning and he didn't react to her hand as he hadn't reacted to the knock on the door. He must have fainted from the fever. Qiao Anhao hurriedly dug out the fever medicine that she had bought earlier. Following the manual, she took out 2 pills and picked a bottle of mineral water from the edge of the bed. She then forced the pills into his mouth after supporting him up with much effort. At this point, Lu Jinian was unconscious from the fever. It was not possible for him to drink the water, and when Qiao Anhao poured it into his mouth, he spat it all out. She tried twice more, but he continued to spit it all out, and his temperature continued to rise to the point even the air surrounding him was warm. Qiao Anhao started panicking as he continued to refuse his medicine. Even if she were to call for a doctor, it would take a few hours for them to reach such a deserted area. Just then, Qiao Anhao suddenly remembered how her mother would use an ice pack to cool her down when she had a fever. She placed the medicine and water onto the bedside table before going into the kitchen to get some ice cubes. Opening the refrigerator, all she found was chilled mineral water. After thinking for a moment, she took the mineral water bottle and returned back upstairs. She rinsed a towel in the cold water before wringing it dry and placing it on Lu Jinian's forehead. With much difficulty, she removed his suit and unbuttoned his shirt. Taking another cold towel, she started wiping his body, hoping to cool him down. The cooling towel was like an ice on coals, bringing comfort to Lu Jinian. His tensed-up brows began to relax as Qiao Anhao continuously wiped his body, and even his trembling started to calm. Gradually, as he fell into deep sleep, his ragged breathing became calm, deep breaths. Seeing that his trembling had stopped, Qiao Anhao sighed inwardly. She carefully tucked him in before kneeling beside the bed, guarding him. Her gaze couldn't help falling onto his face. His lips were unnaturally white, his brows furrowed, and his face streaked with fatigue. But even in such a condition, he still managed to look mesmerizing.